fact, nothing really has to be done because the person punishes themselves and relieves themselves of the blessings that are coming their way. Because the resentfulness, the jealousy, the anger, all of that, when you put it out there, it slaps you back in the face. So your manufacturing of that energy pattern automatically brings you into the response of that energy pattern. So you fire yourself. It's sooner or later. It's a matter of intensity. Nobody really has to do anything to somebody. When you think about friends you've had who've been resentful of skills or talents or girlfriends or whatever aspect.
Humpty Dumpty. No broom, no dustpan. The wind's blowing too. Nobody wants to be around that.
Right.
It's
No,
love.
it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. The person whose energy is emanating those frequencies, no, you are not fun anymore. You're not the life of the party. And you are sentencing yourself to an experience that you have bestowed upon another. Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun, and we welcome you here today for our conversation. Today we're going to be talking about, on this Thanksgiving Day, about resentment, the opposite of being thankful. So Tarvars, before we begin, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Most certainly, and we encourage you all to join us in this call for the truth. Should we call forth the frequency of truth? Should we call to see the truth in all that we see? Should we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Should we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Should we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? And we are here in the truth. We encourage like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to stay tuned to more of these truth calling content. So resentment.
Yes. So that exists.
Yeah, it does. People be resentful.
Yes, and it's very interesting.
I also heard that resentment operates like a barrier to the higher dimensional realms. It can't be hanging with the angels or operating and getting accurate information from your higher self and your guides if you're just fist balled up, not willing to let go of trauma, pain, or the narrative that we hold on to in the resentment. So where would you like to take us? Will you take us to the beginning, understanding of resentment and heart chakra and these dimensional understandings?
Some of what I'd like to point out today has to do with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and the idea that often, and we see this through our ancient history and through the controllers of our world, that what is perceived as valuable, like the divine feminine or the earth or these things, there is some level of wanting to own, master, or control those things. And when that is not possible, there's deep levels of resentment. So this carries over spiritually into, your friend is resentful of something you're doing, or jealousy and resentment tend to go together.
Yeah.
But it's this idea of like, I want to possess the thing. And the response to wanting to possess the thing is to resent the fact that you cannot own it, control it. You are not the author of it. And you cannot then use it in that way, whether it's the earth, whether it's the divine masculine and the divine feminine, whether it's parents with their children, whether, all of these different ways. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. I'm seeing myself in every one of those experiences with friends, family,
right,
and even myself. Like, letting go of resentment, wanting something from a person. I think one of the most classic situations would be with family, our parents. You didn't do enough for me, mom or dad. And then next thing you know, we're like 30, 40, 50 years old, still holding on to what we think we didn't get and trying to control certain outcomes. And it really dampens us, especially something that I've been seeing not only within myself, but those within Light Body. When we're looking to uptake light, especially in that heart, there's only so much that can come in because of all the resentment that's calcified in that area and
Yes.
feeling justified for it too, which also, I think is also a very interesting concept.
I think as relates to the heart, that relates often to family, friends, and romantic relationships, but it's in every chakra.
Yeah.
At every point in your development, from your survival through your bringing in power, through your digestion, through your being able to speak the truth, there can be programs running
Yeah.
that interfere with the desire to own. And it's something that's taught. This is not, we weren't born this way. We weren't born resentful. It's something that we learn through behavior, and especially through the structures and systems that indicate to us, often silently, but through the behavior of wanting to exert control over that which is perceived as valuable. And so it's kind of interesting because the resentment has to do with, I want the talent that you have. I want the charisma that you have. I want to steal your success and claim it as my own. I want to, these are all the categories in which it comes in. I see you on the internet. I want to be you. I actually have a story about that. I once talked to a client who was suicidal, and she was unhappy with her life and her accomplishments, but she had wanted to aspire to the fame of someone who she saw, somebody who was on Oprah and had been elevated, had written books, and had become a great speaker. And she said to me, that was supposed to be my life. I was supposed to be her. She stole what was supposed to be mine. It was supposed to be me. And now I don't want to live. Because she, in her mind, thinks the other person took her life. And resent. So that's an extreme case of fragmentation, trauma of her own experience that led to her having to lie to herself, which is illusion, and then it hardened into delusion, and then she attempted suicide. And I spoke to her before it happened, but there was no moving her out of that space. Like, she was fixated on a person who she had never met, had never seen except on television, and had decided that there was enough similarity between them that it should have been her life.
As you speak, I had a moment of attempting to wrap my mind around what she was experiencing, but it's hard to try to make sense of insanity.
Yes.
It's like, no, I'm supposed to be you. If that were so, it would have been so. You would have lived that. But, so it's very deep. Clearly, there's some level of psychosis that happens with resentment too. Like the story or the narrative that we're telling ourselves, which is essentially a lie. And it's wild because, like, the justification part, would you speak a little bit about that? Because
Yes.
I can see where when we feel resentment, we feel entitled. There's a part of
Yes.
us that do not want to let this go.
Right.
Because, no, you do owe this to me.
Yes.
I'm entitled to what you have, whether it's like a parent-child circumstance or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, friend, coworker. What's going on there?
It's interesting because it really comes from not valuing self. Like, the trauma that causes the fragmentation in a person's life that makes them feel devalued or allows them to think of themselves as devalued, which is often supported by environment, and where they're not able to gather enough strength to bring themselves into a wholeness of value of self. then makes them see everything through a jaundiced eye of like, I have another story. I have a situation where I have a client who has a nanny, and the nanny is making the person who hired her feel uncomfortable about asking her to do anything because the nanny is resentful of the person's lifestyle because they can afford a nanny. And it's very clear to the woman who hired the nanny that the person feels like it should have been her life.
Yeah.
So
It's
this is
psychosis there.
this is someone who maybe didn't even imagine that lifestyle until she saw it.
He's like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be.
And it turns out she is there having that lifestyle.
Yeah, it could be good for the nanny. The nanny's not making this work for her. See, that's the problem right there. This resentment will keep you from gaining what there is to be
If
gained.
what you wanted is to be around children in an environment that was elevated and be treated as family, this is the opportunity that has appeared in your experience where you can live that life, live in that house, ride in that car.
She's so close without having to do much.
Yes, but it's really point of view, the fragmentation of the character and the trauma of whatever her own experience was, is that she wants it the way she wants it. The way she wants it is, I want to, be married to that man, or I want to, have
right,
that whatever you have that got you whatever it is.
Nanny's taking it too far.
Yes, but this is a good example of what happens in life if we don't think ourselves big enough. Then we get exactly what we think. What stands in front of us is exactly the way we think it. So if you don't give yourself value, but you want to live in a great house and you want to be in a fabulous family and you want to work with children, how perfectly she manifested that.
Yeah.
But because it looks better on the other side of the fence,
So resentment is essentially a you problem. Like not doing well, and this is why I'm coming to this conclusion. Especially with the nanny. Like, I want what you have. However, I have been unwilling to do or take action in order to acquire what you have. So I'm gonna, and this is where the insanity part, I can't make sense of the rest of it. Can't even speak it out.
well, it's actually may or may not be that. When I looked at the situation, what I saw was that she never even imagined that lifestyle. She just knew she loved children. She knew she wanted to be with a good family. She wanted to, and she hit the jackpot. But when she got there, she was like, this is supposed to be mine in a different way.
All right, I'm giving the nanny too much credit. And no, okay, so she didn't even imagine.
No, but she had the desire to be, her will to be in service propelled her into this situation that was very wonderful, but her fragmentation and her illusion made it so uncomfortable that the other people who were in the family felt they couldn't say anything because it was so clear that she felt that it was supposed to be her instead of the family that already existed before she ever came into it.
So now a question for you. This takes us into a great way to see what's happening to the receiver of the resentment, and how does one engage? How do we interact? Do we fire the nanny, kick the nanny out of our lives? Do we just chalk it up and just, all right, well, they're resentful, and turn the other cheek?
There's a lot of ways to deal with it. In this case, in that particular situation, she needed to leave so that the children didn't feel it because it was a newborn. So that was that energy between the nanny and the parents was inappropriate. But in point of fact, nothing really has to be done because the person punishes themselves and relieves themselves of the blessings that are coming their way. Because the resentfulness, the jealousy, the anger, all of that when you put it out there, it slaps you back in the face. Oh, yes, oh. So your manufacturing of that energy pattern automatically brings you into the response of that energy pattern. So you fire yourself. It's sooner or later. It's a matter of intensity. Nobody really has to do anything to somebody. When you think about friends you've had who've been resentful of skills or talents or girlfriends or whatever aspect.
Drop Humpty Dumpty. No broom, no dustpan. The wind's blowing too. Nobody wants to be around that.
Right.
It's
No,
not
no,
love.
it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. The person whose energy is emanating those frequencies, no, you are not fun anymore. You're not the life of the party. And you are sentencing yourself to an experience that you have bestowed upon another. So it is its own self-fulfilling gift.
Gotcha.
Of education. This is a gift of education. Like, you get slapped back with it enough, and whatever way it comes back to you, maybe people are jealous of you, or maybe the energy pattern that's beneath that comes back to you and you just don't feel good, or you feel depressed, which is part of this. Depression is part of that. So you feel it one way or another, and then you're a self-generating force until you can grow beyond that understanding, however long that takes. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So how can a person who feels resentful, who does not fully understand that that's what they're broadcasting, recognize that they are in a pattern or energy field of resentment?
Where's the most dangerous place to keep your money right now? And I'll prove it in 60 seconds. Most people think banks are safe. They believe their deposits are sitting in a vault with their name on it. But here's the truth. The moment you hand money to the bank, it's no longer yours. Legally, you're a creditor. And in a crisis, creditors are paid last, if at all. Banks don't protect your money. They use it. They lend it, they leverage it, and gamble it. If their bets go bad, you carry the risk. And if inflation rises, your safe savings lose. They lose value every single year. That's why millionaires don't park cash in banks. They park cash in assets. History proves it. Cyprus 2013, deposits frozen, savers lost billions. Argentina, Venezuela, Turkey, currencies collapsed, savings evaporated. Even in the US, over 500 banks failed since 2008. And yet, central banks themselves are quietly stacking gold at record levels. Why? Because they know the real safety lies. Because they know where the real safety lies. So here's how you protect yourself. Keep only what you need for daily liquidity in the bank. Move the rest into assets that can't be frozen or printed. Things like gold, real estate, and private equity. Build a reserve outside the system so you own your money, not rent it. Start now, because the riskiest place to keep wealth is where everyone else feels safe.
So interesting. What I'm going to say applies to so many low frequency ideas. To cultivate the practice of seeing the right in everything. Like, how is it right that I got hired? How is it right that I'm here with this extraordinary people who are treating me nicely? How is it right that I get to travel and go all over the world and fly privately and all of this with them because I'm a honored aspect of their family? How is it right that this is happening to me? How is it right that there's someone who was on Oprah who's speaking to the world righteously and I'm still alive, I can still do it? How is it right that my life is not over unless I take it myself, that I can acknowledge that and be inspired by it? How is it right that I get to see someone who loves skateboarding and who is an artist and who dresses cool, and now I'm inspired to be more individualistic?
I feel like, what are you talking about? I think you're talking about me.
I'm using all the examples.
Thank you.
Yes.
Shoe fits.
I'm using all the examples. So the way to combat it is to see that if it doesn't feel good to be resentful, doesn't feel good to be low frequencies as relates to your life. If you're the teenager who doesn't want to put the dishes in the dishwasher and feels resentful because you were being asked to do something, maybe you should consider what's right about the fact that you've got a dishwasher. You know, some of us didn't grow up with one.
Yeah.
Somebody asked you to put the clothes in the washing machine, and the washing machine washes the clothes. You don't have to go to the river with a rock and pound the dirt out of the clothes. Maybe you could see what's right in putting the clothes in the machine and pushing the button.
Our comforts have distorted our perception of what's really happening.
Yes, because we're not washing the dishes. The dishwasher's washing the dishes. We're not washing the clothes. The washing machine's washing the clothes. So when you start to see what's right about it, like, oh, look how fortunate I am. Even things like a hot shower. How good does that feel to be under the water from creation? That's warm and body temperature, and you can just allow yourself to feel that on you. What is the right in that? There's like so much right in that. You know, why not think about, oh, I'm just so willing to be of service because my life is serving me in such a wonderful way. You know, I get to breathe air and be in a warm shower and sit under the sun in the heat. You know, I get to have the experience, I mean, like, see the right in everything. That changes the perspective, so you don't have the bandwidth to be mad at somebody.
Yeah.
You know, when you have your life is so full of so many gifts.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to flip the polarity. It feels extremely elevated, feels like the individual stays within their power, and I can see where potentialities can open up as a byproduct.
So this is really the message on Thanksgiving Day. Be grateful. Be grateful. Be in gratitude. Be in great thanks. That keeps you out of resentment, jealousy, and all the lower frequencies. Be thankful for what you can see, what you can do, what you have, what you don't have, what's coming your way, what could be, what is. Be grateful for what has been, because it's propelled you to this point of being grateful today.
Yeah.
It just is a cycle of renewing light. So, would you like to pull a card?
I would.
Will you pull a card about our topic today of resentment?
Resentment. By the way, for anyone who's interested, Call for the Truth divination cards are available on the website.
And they're quite beautiful, very beautiful. We like them, we use them often. This is a gift from our allies, this intelligence of layered truth, color, geometrics, numbers, and then the words. And the card is?
The card is Truth, Throat Chakra. Declare war on the enemy within you. Conquer your own mind. Let your battle cry be truth and victory.
Yay, that was a great card.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We thank you for joining us, and we hope you will come and visit us again and join us in our many conversations. We give you the greetings of In Lakesh, oneness, and Veritas, the truth, with honor, respect, gratitude, integrity, discipline,